story of us. It's long, treacherous,
painful, but I wouldn't write it any other way. It's funny, really. All the bad in the world, yet I feared that one word. Love. Not yet.
not ever.
The story of us. I was never meant to meet you.
You were always in my life, yet I never took a second glance.
But we clicked. It started off slow.
Hey, did you finish that homework assignment?
Oh, what's your 3-mile time?
But slowly, it got a little faster.
Hey, do you want to come over for dinner?
Just a little heads up, I don't use Snapchat much, so here's my number.
What started as an addition to my day slowly became a routine.
The day just didn't feel complete without your acknowledgement.
We would talk for hours
And hours.
and hours.
What is this I'm feeling?
Don't say it.
But it feels like
It's not.
soon those hours stretched to days.
2 weeks.
And then
You were mine. It seemed almost too good to be true.
you were the first person I allowed to break down my wall.
But I don't think you even had the courage to touch mine.
You made my life easier. It was as if you were the missing puzzle piece I'd been searching for.
You made it so hard going a day without wondering if I deserved better.
You gave songs new meanings. Meanings only we would understand.
Do I deserve this?
Do I deserve this? Songs contain thousands of words. Yet, in that moment, as we swayed beneath the lights of your dimly lit basement, only one lyric could come to mind. I love you.
We never had the same music taste, and I guess that was a small thing. But it should have been the first sign of how truly different we were. Lyrics meant the world to me, and I'd search for you within the tunes in my playlist. Yet, you weren't even willing to turn up the volume. The story of us.
My friends clicked with you the second you sat down and shared that roller shrimp tempura. My family adored you, especially your high tolerance to spice. You truly will never let me live down the fact that I couldn't handle that spicy beef rice bowl that we shared on that first date.
My friends were concerned as to why I was scared to text you that invite. Eventually, you proved that fear right. They were open, and you were so closed. My friend group was different from yours. We're a family. You never understood how important they were to me, and you would always put your ego above my emotions. The minute you arrived, it was almost as if darkness loomed over the group. Hours had already passed, and it was time to go. Your ego-clouded eyes continue to haunt me ever since that night. My friends packed up as we stumbled ahead, and I was clearly upset to seeing them disliking you. But once you saw the discomfort in my eyes, all you had to say was,
Just give her a little affection and she'll be fine.
you were never put on a pedestal with my family. You were always just another precaution they had to look out for. The story of us.
Our first argument. I already wasn't having a good day, and I hoped that you could turn it around, just like you always did. You bailed on me. Sleep was always my remedy to any type of negative emotion, so when you no longer received texts from me, you knew I was far off in dreamland. But, to my surprise, even after I woke up, my dream continued. Red roses and a lengthy apology note greeted me on my front porch. I didn't realize you remembered how much I love flowers.
There was no number to the amount of arguments we had. But the one that scarred the most was unexpected. You called on a night that was one to remember. Me and my friends took a trip to the city while you stayed back. I hadn't seen you in a while, but that was common. My phone buzzed with a text. You didn't want to see me. My heartbeat got faster and so did my feet. I rushed outside to call and you picked up with a tone that I had never recognized. Your emotion spilled out as the tears in my eyes followed. You hung up. The story of us.
There was so much good that surrounded our relationship. Yet, we were both at the lowest points we've ever been. Our minds were too clouded with our own personal baggage, and we became distant. Neither of us could control the cynical thoughts that continuously ran through our brains.
You cannot love another without loving yourself.
Our end was calling us. yet neither wanted to accept that it had come so soon. Putting yourself first seems to be neither the right nor wrong option, but the reality is, it's the only one. Our story had ended, yet it felt as if this wasn't the ending that was intended for us.
The cut did start to heal, but slowly we realized no bandage could fix our wound. You were angry, not at me, but at the people who knew how to love me the right way. I finally realized that the love we had for each other was a fixated lie we created in the beginning. I was no longer happy. In a relationship, you grow together. But you were my weed killer. Every word and every action you made ripped my petals away. No alternatives or what-ifs could change us. The time we had was close to its end, and we embraced each other one last time, knowing we were never going to see each other again. This was the ending intended for us. The story alone.
I clung to you like glue, trying to sense any hint that you would find your way back to me. I gave your stuff back in clusters. I started with the big things, physical memories, that is. The sweatpants that you had gifted me, photo albums, other types of roses that were now withered and deceased. Soon, I moved on to the smaller items, things you had probably forgotten. The pants you had given me, saying they were too small to even fit you. The other half of a matching necklace I knew you had accidentally broken just a few weeks prior. Anything for you to acknowledge my existence. I completely lost myself. I turned away from my friends and my family, fell back into addictions that were meant to stay in my past. During this time, a close friend of mine passed away, yet I was unable to distinguish which loss I cried over more. I completely changed myself to the point where I no longer recognized the girl staring back in the mirror. In the back of my mind, I hoped you would notice. I hoped you would have said something. God, why didn't you say anything? I hoped you would have come back to me.
From then on, we became strangers. Yes, we had memories, but that is all you are to me, a bad memory.
I learned to live without you. Slowly, I changed for my own satisfaction, and your acknowledgement became less of a necessity. I began to recognize myself again. My friends and my family became my strongest ally, and while controlling my urges were dreadful, over time, became less of a struggle. I found who I was again, and while I still cried, it was no longer over you, rather, over the memories of you, because that's all you are to me, a memory.
Dear future me,
Life has such a weird way of sorting itself out.
it's crazy to think about high school and the life we have right now. This is just the beginning of what life has in store for us.
Sure, our relationship ended, but it opened up so many opportunities in my life. Losing you made me experience a pain I have never known, but I found myself again.
It's really hard to be in a relationship where you have to constantly question your place in their heart. It's not a safe place to be when you're giving your all to someone who will not show you the proper value that you deserve. Everyone just has to realize love isn't the only thing you need to make a relationship work.
Now is my time to be happy. I've hurt, and I've healed, and now is time for me. Whatever happens, will happen, but I hope to make the decision that will make me, and only me, happy.
It's weird to think that this is the outcome I have been questioning all this time. Just understand, the love you give others is so unbelievably beautiful. The story of me.